First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX and WIBX950.com.
Yesterday was the first day where I said, wow, this is just too much humidity.
Yeah, it was.
It was the first day where I think people were starting to complain, like, wow, because it was humid.
Yeah, and then when it rained,
It got more humid.
exactly.
Yeah. It was, the temperature went down like 7 degrees and it felt 10 degrees hotter.
Did you see Albany? What happened to Albany?
No.
They got some type of
big storms?
some type of a cell that like dumped an inch and a half or something in 30 minutes, something crazy.
Wow.
But their downtown was like flooded up to your knees. Well, maybe up to your hips and my knees, but it was quite. What do you?
Thanks for that. That's yeah, that's all right.
But it was bad.
I almost drowned in it.
I don't. I was just kind of shocked because the explanation. I clicked on a story at the Times-Union last night. There was no explanation. They talked to a meteorologist who said, "Yeah, when it's very moist and humid,
it can happen.
And it rains.
Yeah.
You can get a persistent rain or something." And that was kind of the explanation. I was shocked.
Well, that's and I wonder, that's right in the governor's home away from home backyard. Mm-hmm. So this is just what the governor was looking for.
Yeah.
Bring me a disaster so that the attention can be somewhere else.
That's true.
I would imagine today he's plotted this out. Thursdays are always good days, but today being Wednesday, it'll either be today or tomorrow he'll be able to say, I can't believe it, but we've hit 70%.
Yeah. Well,
Don't
I
you
think
think?
it will be today, yeah.
Today or tomorrow?
Well, it was 68.9 yesterday, and it was 68.6 the day before. So
Yeah, we're moving
creep
up.
into
Yeah.
that Thursday or Friday
And
gift.
everybody's talking about the governor's daughter's wedding, which I think was last weekend, or
Saturday.
it's this weekend? Mm-hmm. Okay. So everybody, and Monaski, you're one that has said, listen, I mean, you've taken you've almost come to the governor's defense in this one.
Well, only to say that some people are saying basically he eased the restrictions because his daughter was getting married, and maybe that's part of the truth. But how could he possibly still have in place the restrictions after what the CDC said?
Well,
and
he's done it
basically
before.
what every other state is doing.
He's done it before.
Like we would be losing our minds
the only
if
thing,
we were
though,
still in those restrictions.
The only thing, though, that you have to look at is how is he able to time the 70% vaccination rate with his daughter's wedding? I mean,
Well, that's
right?
fair.
I mean,
That's fair.
that would be kind of. I mean, and listen, I get it. I feel like the guy is completely out of control, and I can't believe he didn't step down after all these accusations. But he claims none of it is real, and every Italian man kisses like this, and we're all well-intentioned. And I don't believe that, right? I don't believe that.
Him, her, that, they, I kiss them all.
But the fact is, he hasn't done everything. It's not. You can't blame him for like Pearl Harbor and the Holocaust.
Not yet.
So there's a lot. But it is. I mean, he does not care about the optics.
Apparently
I mean, who
not.
else would be able to write a book saying I defeated the virus just before the virus got worse than it had been through the entire pandemic? Right. Yeah. He releases the book in the fall, and we went through a brutal winter. But
So-
he defeated the pandemic.
Let me ask: if he goes, do we get his brother? Is he the next Cuomo to assume the
I don't
throne?
think it will be a Cuomo, right? I think it would be someone that might. Who knows? But the makeup of the state is going to be hard for it to not be a Democrat.
That's true.
Okay, we have a bunch to squeeze into here this morning for this Wednesday, June 9th. You know, it's funny. Everybody talks about how, wow, can you believe June is here? But this week just seems to be creeping on like it's slow as molasses. Because last week was a short week. I kept thinking that Thursday was Wednesday last week.
Me too.
Now I keep thinking that today's Thursday.
Yeah, it's
funny how
Wednesday.
that all works. Hello, Angelo. Good morning.
Hey, Bill.
I just wanted to ask you, how are your teeth?
They're good. I went to the dentist.
Yeah.
Apparently, I had deep grooves, so I had to get my deep grooves.
Deep grooves.
Yeah.
All right.
What the hell does that
Is that
mean?
on MCA records or Epic?
It's actually a genre.
Apparently, it's like the start of a cavity almost. Like if your grooves are deep,
Oh,
they
okay.
fill
All
them
right.
so they don't become anything worse.
Or it could be Get Deep Grooves. 12 of the best hits on KTEL Records.
Yeah,
Right?
sounds good. I would buy that.
Remember,
compilation.
well, I'll tell you something about KTEL Records back in the day. KTEL and Ronco.
Yeah, no, Ryko. I think there was a Ryko too.
Could be. I don't know. But in terms of those two, Ronco also had like get the Ronco mixer. It'll blend all sorts of. Remember that? But they also did records and they do compilations. KTEL and Ronco would do compilations and they'd advertise them on TV. And when you get the album, it was so flimsy. It was like half
Yeah, they're
of
the
the
cheapest.
thickness
Yeah.
of a regular album. I don't know why I'm talking about it, but you went to the dentist yesterday.
I went to the dentist.
That's a big deal. It is a big deal because I think I had my first dental appointment since the pandemic. So for the teeth cleaning, I mean, all these dentists are trying to catch up after you couldn't go to the dentist for the longest time.
My schedule's August, February, so I got in kind of right as they were reopening last year. February, even though the cases were bad, they still had me in. They were doing the protocol, so I was fortunate.
I'm in like an April, November.
Because you think
type
about it, the
situation.
pandemic started in March, so August to
You're right.
February of the
You're
following year,
Yeah.
I had got that February appointment in. It hit in March, and then I was good by August.
Well, you know what's funny is I think I'm kind of, it's either April, November, May, November is kind of my 6-month rotation. I didn't miss an appointment. I still went in.
I've not been.
They slid off the mask. I think they had an extra barrier, like a plastic barrier, but I still had my cleanings.
We'll talk to Tanya Powers on the vice president's wrap-up of her foreign trip after she met with the president of Mexico. We'll do that. Coming up, John Stevens is a county legislator, and he's in the middle of a primary there in Herkimer County for the legislature. Rachel Sutherland on this morning. We have Ryan Nobles from CNN coming up. I have a free money question from the Hubaika Law Firm we'll do. And what is this story that I keep hearing about in regards to the dog that is now deceased, but it was brought to the vet, and then the vet adopted the dog out from underneath the owner of the dog? What is going on here?
As many great stories like this always begin, it began with a social media post in which a veterinary service or veterinary facility was being accused of wrongdoing. The Facebook post alleges that the dog Shane, who was the dog of an elderly gentleman, was given away or put up for adoption without the owner's consent. So basically, the owner of Shane was bringing the dog to this veterinary clinic to have physical therapy done. It was an older dog, had some issues, so he would bring the dog to that place. Well, when he went to pick him up at one point, according to this social media post, the facility told the owner the dog has been adopted. Sorry. And he says, "What do you mean? I didn't put him up for adoption," at least according to this Facebook post. So the deed had already been done. The dog had been put up for adoption. And then a few updates throughout the story show that the original owner did ask for it back, and then the other person was going to, the person who adopted the dog was going to give it back to the original
owner.
Then, in a weird twist of fate, there's concerns about the condition in which the dog was in while under this veterinary care at this facility, and eventually the dog was going to be placed in a what is the word here? Like a sanctuary, like an animal sanctuary, where the original owner, could then go visit him at any time. Well, the dog has since passed away. So we're working on speaking with a woman who has some knowledge of the situation later on this morning.
I think we should make sure that we try to speak with the veterinary clinic.
Yeah,
because that's a
we're
pretty
gonna
big.
Reach out to them too.
Has anyone spoken to them?
Yeah, so when the original story had broke, our sister station had gotten into this. They spoke to Dr. Evan Sandler of CNY Vet, who explained the owner of the dog is an 81-year-old gentleman. The owner called the practice to discuss the unique situation. Shane weighed over 100 pounds and had a hard time getting around. I guess there's allegations that that there were damages to the dog's pads and elbows from being dragged around.
So the veterinary clinic is saying the older owner did not take care of the dog.
Was having trouble. They're not saying that it was a malicious thing.
And now people are saying that the veterinary clinic did not take care of the dog.
Right.
Oh, boy.
But there's also this weird twist and element of the dog was adopted without the owner's consent, allegedly, and now the dog has since passed away. And, they were going to pick the dog up from a veterinary clinic after the new adopted family brought it back, and the conditions were bad at that time. So there's all these different angles that I'm still trying to wrap my head around the story, to be honest with you.
Okay, so I don't know how... I always whenever there's a story like this, I always find that there's some logical conclusion that we didn't, that no one knew about.
Right.
And I'm kind of wondering what that's going to be, because I just kind of have a feeling like there's going to be something. I just have that feeling. Today is National Donald Duck Day, so there will be people running around talking like that. You remember what's his name?
Yes.
Yeah. Billboard has put out their best songs of 2021. This is what they're calling their staff picks.
Oh, gosh.
So the people who work at Billboard have come up with a list.
These are always a joy.
Can somebody tell me, is Pink, the singer Pink, singing about how she loves her truck? Or am I just hearing those words wrong? I love my truck, my truck, my truck. I love my truck. Is that what she's saying?
That's got to be code for something. Unless she likes her truck. Maybe she's saying...
Can somebody look that up?
She likes her truck, and it sounds like something else that she likes to do.
18-wheeler. Pink's got a song called 18-wheeler.
She does. She loves her truck.
Hey, man, what's your problem? I see you try to hurt me bad. Don't know what you're up against. Maybe you should reconsider. Come up with another plan, because I'm not that kind of girl. That'll lay
poetic.
there. What? That'll lay there, let you come first.
Well,
what?
when you don't have the song playing and you're reading the lyrics, you've never heard the song before, they're going to look weird.
You can run me over with your 18-wheeler truck.
Yeah,
and I won't give a blank. You better be careful.
Yeah,
be careful.
Yeah. What's the name of the song? 18-wheeler?
18-wheeler.
All right, I'm going to try to bring it up.
There's another song, 18-wheeler, roll on high. Who was it? Alabama?
Yeah, there's another one called 18-wheeler. It has to do with the number of children he's got down the hall.
That is called Roll On.
Thank you.
By Alabama.
Yes, thank
Be
you.
careful.
This is fine, I think.
This is the edited version.
That's not the song I'm looking for.
No, you can. Okay.
My truck. I love my truck. My truck. I love my truck. Just keep singing that.
Oh, God.
Sorry. Anyway, Billboard has come up with their favorite songs.
Hopefully that's not
2021. Somebody look that up. I have a feeling it's not truck. It's something else. In fact, my wife said, I don't know what it is, but it's not truck. Okay, just if you're wondering there. What else do we, and we'll get somebody on in regards to that dog. I'm sorry to skip past that story. You saw that Pat Sajak has announced he had a terrible loss in his family, and it was his dog.
Oh.
Turned out. He announced that on Wheel of Fortune. And people, well-wishers from all over, were wishing him well because of that. I know. That's just a dog. We're onto dogs here for some reason.
Angelo, you must speak.
Who cares about Pat Sajak's dog?
That's what I'm saying.
Thank you.
Yeah, everybody's going nuts about it. A Canadian dog named Rogan. Can we stick with dogs here? A Canadian dog named Rogan is gaining notoriety for selling his paintings and giving all the proceeds to local animal shelters. Whatever. Here's the owner talking about the almost $6,000 that he's raised with his artwork. I'm assuming the dog uses his paws or her paws and then dips and walks and does all this stuff, and that's where the paintings actually come from. This is the owner of the dog.
It's very surreal to be talking to people about my painting dog. Like, I'm sending my dog's paintings to Hong Kong. That's very surreal. All the proceeds from Rogan's paintings, we donate to local rescues in southern Alberta. So we've donated just about $6,000 so far since we started painting. Sometimes he shocks me by how quickly he picks things up. It's almost like he's a mind reader.
Oh, well,
okay.
Maybe the dog can start reading palms.
It may very well be. This is another.
He's a paw
Who
reader.
cares about this? Well, go
This
ahead, Angelo.
show is turning into the NBC Nightly News Making a Difference report, and we fast forward it every night. I don't need to be uplifted.
I must say, I completely agree with you about the final segment of NBC News.
What's the point?
It's a waste of 6 minutes.
I walk away and get ready for Jeopardy if I'm indoors.
You won't believe that
Yeah.
this little boy became friends with his neighbor and they plant tomatoes together. I don't care.
I don't think people care about good things. I had a friend that did a radio show that was after my show. This is way back. I did like a community affairs program, and it was news type related. And then she would come on, and it would be good news. All right, now let's everybody talk about the good news. No one would ever call
Boring.
in. No one calls in about good news.
Well,
I don't know why.
there is some good news I feel like worth telling, but not. I mean, is that legitimately what the stories are like?
Well,
This
I mean,
little boy
sometimes.
became friends
I
with this
seen
boy.
one.
And they,
Well, he's being a bit sarcastic,
Planted
but
a tomato?
it's always telling a good story. It's a positive story about someone who's making a difference. Our Making a Difference segment with Lester Holt is what that is. Can I throw this and go in a completely different direction? A South African woman is claiming to have broken the world record by giving birth to, in one pregnancy, 10 babies.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
To be fair, though, it's not been confirmed by doctors or the Guinness Book of Records. 10 babies. That's just I don't know that that's even. I don't know that is even possible. But they're looking into it. We'll see what happens. States are looking for new incentives, new inventive ways to get people vaccinated. Washington State is pulling out all the stops. They're doing, are you ready for this, joints for jabs and giving away marijuana in exchange for a vaccination.
Yeah, I saw this the other day in Washington. They're doing that.
In Washington State. That's exactly right.
So, did you have an audio clip? You paused.
I don't have an audio
Okay,
clip for this.
Listen, anybody who says, I've been vaccinated, I got both shots. Anybody who says, oh, this is, I don't know, I don't know the word they use. It's a scam, it's a con, because there's something in there. They want you to get injected with whatever this is. There's all this suspicion about it. To be honest with you, I have no suspicion until they start offering drugs in exchange for getting the shot.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, what are you going to do with the weed? You're going to roll it up.
Well,
you're going to roll it up in a joint and pass it around to a bunch of other unvaccinated people. That's the best way to spread the
they
virus.
give you a lot of in the legal states. They give you pre-rolled joints.